So, as a Canadian, why am I jealous of my US counterparts? Well, it all comes down to a tax strategy, and that's called the 1031 exchange. And so the reason it's called 1031 exchange is actually it's just named after the Internal Revenue Code section. So it's the 1031 section. And so what's really cool about it, and what we don't have in Canada, is it allows you to exchange like-kind property and kind of reinvest the proceeds without having to pay any capital gains. So another way of thinking about it is, think of it as a slow BRRRR. So it's a BRRRR that's maybe going to take you kind of 2 years to execute on. And so there's all kinds of specific rules and regulations that you need to learn and get informed about if you actually want to do a 1031 exchange. And we're not going to cover all those details in this video. This is going to be a high-level concept to kind of make those of you that are new to real estate investing in the US, or those of you that are Canadian real estate investors, just kind of get you a better idea, a better understanding of why people refer to the 1031 exchange and why it can be such a powerful tool to help you build and leverage your wealth faster. So in essence, for the purpose of this video, we're going to focus on a 1031 exchange in relation to investment properties. So what it really allows you to do is take an investment property, you can buy it, and if it's appreciated, or if you did force appreciation through strategic renovations, and it's now worth more, 2 years later, if you decide to sell that investment property and buy a replacement investment property that's equal or greater value, you're actually going to be able to defer all the capital gains. And so why is deferring the capital gains important? Because at the end of the day, if you keep deferring them, you'll eventually have to pay them if you do dispose of the property. So the reason tax deferral strategies are so powerful is it allows you to keep the whole profit and reinvest it. So what it means is you keep earning more and more money off your profit. So let's do a quick diagram. So just to keep things simple, let's say on the disposition of investment property, you had profit of $100,000. Well, if you're deferring the taxes, that means your net proceeds on that sale, you get to keep all the $100,000 you made, and you can reinvest it into another asset. Whereas if it's not tax deferred, that means that, let's say just for simplicity's sake, you have a 25% capital gains tax. That means you're only going to be able to keep 75% of the proceeds, or $75,000. And so why this really matters is, let's say our next investment makes 10%. So if the profit we're making off our next investment is 10%, that means that we make $10,000 in the tax deferred strategy versus $7,500 in the non-tax deferred strategy. And so what this means is it just really allows our money to keep working harder for us and keep making us more money until we eventually divest of the asset. So another way to think of the 1031 tax exchange is kind of think of it as a monopoly. So what you're going to do is you're going to buy one little green house, and then in a couple years, assuming that there's been appreciation or forced appreciation, you can maybe sell it and buy 2 greenhouses. And then you keep upgrading. And so eventually you end up with that great big beautiful red hotel. So where does it really make sense to use the 1031 exchange? Well, it's great for if you can buy inefficient or underappreciated assets, and then you can kind of slow BRRRR them or slowly fix them up over, say, let's say a 2-year period. Then you go and sell that property, take the full proceeds, and go and buy another property of equal or greater value, a like-kind property. The thing is, there's a lot of extra details about the 1031 exchange and a lot of nuances that can really make it even more powerful for you and your situation, depending on the exact details. If you want to see me do a video in depth discussing the 1031 tax exchange, let me know in the comment section down below. But to be honest, I'm no US tax expert, so I'm realistically just going to read a ton of blogs, read literally the Internal Revenue Code, section 1031, to get a firmer understanding, and I can regurgitate it to you on my channel. But you guys can also definitely learn this stuff yourself. It's not rocket science. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience to learn these strategies. But what I really love about the 1031 tax exchange is, let's say you buy that really shitty, dilapidated duplex for $100,000, you fix it up, and then in a couple years you're able to sell it for, let's say, $200,000. Maybe you spent $50,000 on the renovation, so you have net profit of $50,000. But you're going to take the full $200,000 now, and maybe you can go buy 2 shitty duplexes, and then you fix up those 2 shitty duplexes to each be worth $200,000. You sell both of them 2 years later again, and now you have $400,000, and then you can either go buy 4 duplexes, or you could buy maybe a great big 4, 6, or 8plex, and that's a way to pivot and get into a larger real estate investing strategy. So yeah, one of the best strategies I can think about in regards to using the 1031 exchange is just really finding underutilized assets, similar to what we're doing with the BRRRR investing strategy. But the only difference is, rather than keeping them and rolling them into our investment portfolio, after a couple years we're going to dispose of them in order to upgrade. And so one of the reasons I'm most jealous about this strategy is, what it means is, at first when you're a real estate investor, often the type of properties you're focused on may be on a smaller scale than what you'd consider a good investment 5 or 10 years in the future or even further. And so this is a great way to, let's say you build up that portfolio of small investment properties, they're all single families or duplexes. Eventually you can take those, sell a bunch, and upgrade into a much larger investment property like those 16 plexes that Grant Cardone's always telling you about on his YouTube channel. So yeah, that's the reason I'm jealous of Americans, is because of this 1031 tax deferral strategy. I honestly believe that far too many people misunderstand these tax deferral strategies. They're a fantastic way to really grow your wealth and keep your money working for you longer. So the awesome thing about this tax deferral strategy is you can just keep leveraging yourself from inefficient asset to inefficient asset to inefficient asset and slowly keep climbing the property ladder, if you will, or increasing the total number of properties you own. The key here is you're going to buy a like-kinded asset but larger and use all the proceeds from the sale of your previous asset. So what you're going to do is you're just going to buy an inefficient asset, make it efficient, and in a couple years sell it, buy another or more inefficient assets, make them efficient again, resell them in a couple years, and you keep the cycle going. And it's a fantastic way to build consistent wealth over a long time horizon. So yeah, that's the reason myself and so many Canadian real estate investors are jealous of you American real estate investors, because of this 1031 tax deferral strategy. And I desperately wish we had it in Canada. The BRRRR investment strategy is a similar type approach. The only thing is you're going to always have to be stuck with keeping those assets with the BRRRR investing strategy, and you can only access actually 80% of the total value of the asset. Whereas with the tax deferral strategy through a 1031 exchange, you dispose of the full asset, get the full net proceeds, and then can reinvest those, into like-kinded assets, whether those are bigger buildings or more buildings, it doesn't really matter. But again, there's all kinds of specific rules that you either need to become an expert on or you need to get an expert on your team. But like I said, me personally, if you guys want me to do a video on the details of the 1031 exchange, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll do it. So yeah, that's it for the 1031 exchange video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that beautiful subscribe button. It's like right there. And until next time, YouTube wants you to check out the videos down below. As always, I'm Matt McKeever. Remember, making money is a team sport. There's more than enough money out there for us to all make it, but if you're not saving it, guys, I mean, like, what's the point? Thanks! Bye!